Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sterling Live. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Caitlin Brower. I am Sterling's social media manager, and Sterling Live is our weekly live series where we live stream across Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube with, amazing guests, a lot of them from Sterling, a lot of external people as well. But today we do have two Sterling individuals with us. As you can see, Jenna and Kim are above me right now. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them and the topic, but we have a great episode lined up for everyone watching today. So as I just said, we do have with us today Kim Johnson, our client success partner for Sterling Volunteers, and Jenna Gardner, a frequent guest of Sterling Live. So Jenna, thank you for coming back. She is our people and experience leader. And today our topic is we are commemorating Juneteenth, the upcoming holiday this weekend. So we wanted to get together, commemorate it, talk, everything like that. So I'm very excited. We have right away a shout out from the Archdiocese of Newark on LinkedIn. So thank you so much for joining. I know, Kim, they're definitely excited to see you on today. So very happy that you're tuning in. So for our audience that is live now on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, if you have questions for Kim or Jenna during the show, please go ahead and put them in the comment section across these three platforms, and I will get the questions over to them as I see fit throughout the show. So let's go ahead and get started. So I do want the two of you to formally introduce yourselves to the audience, share a little bit more about, not just work, kind of yourselves personally and things like that. So Kim, let's get started with you. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Totally. Yeah. So I'm Kim Johnson, and she said, I am a client success partner here at Sterling. I have been with the company for about seven and a half years. And I also am a wife and mother. So I live in Colorado with my husband and my 5-year-old daughter, and I am actually expecting a little one come October. So busy.
Yes. Well, that is very exciting. Congratulations. I actually follow Kim on Instagram, so I love watching her little family run around. They are adorable, and they definitely keep me excited and happy. So congratulations. That's very exciting. And thank you for joining us today. Yeah. Jenna, the audience probably knows you by now. This is probably like your 4th or 5th episode, but we are so happy to have you on as always. And please, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, of course. Kim, you're about to be a lot busier with that second baby coming out. So it's fun. As Caitlin mentioned, I'm Jenna Gardner. I'm a people and experience leader. I've been at Sterling for about 4.5 years. And the way I like to describe my role is much like how companies focus on clients. They have like client success people or making sure that the client has the best experience. We have a role here at Sterling that focuses on our employees and making sure that our employees have great experience from onboarding to offboarding, and I get to concentrate on that, and it's very much fun. Outside of Sterling, I have 2 kids, a 20-month son, James, and Audrey is 3.5. So I do have my hands full. A lot of times on the weekends, I'm just like watching them. I told Kim this and Caitlin this the other day, watch them destroy everything in front of me, like laying there, like, what do I do with my life? But yeah, between work and my personal life, I find myself very busy.
I love that. And, thank you as well for joining us today. And I do love that we're talking about family, because I think it does really tie into the episode today and celebrating and coming together and everything like that. So let's dive into, our overall topic today of commemorating Juneteenth. So Kim, I want to start with you with just an overview of the holiday. So can you explain to our audience what Juneteenth is?
Absolutely. So a lot of people know about the Emancipation Proclamation, which was signed in 1863, but not many people know that 2 years later, almost 2.5 years later, a Union general came down to Galveston, Texas, and read the proclamation and freed the slaves in Texas. And so from there, it was just a jubilant, very excited time for the former slaves. And then it just came into this amazing holiday where we can celebrate our freedom, we can celebrate different civil rights actions that have come up, and it just kind of flows from there. It's just grown and became this big, enormous holiday that I love, and I'm so excited for the growth that we've seen.
Yeah, that's great. And I love your explanation of it. And I think it's really good for our audience to understand that high level, that overview of it. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So in regards to, the holiday, what does Juneteenth mean to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am from Texas. I was born and raised. My whole family lived there for generations. And so for me, my ancestors were those slaves. They were
Mhm.
people that were affected by this directly. And so when I think about Juneteenth, I think about the freedom that they experienced, but then also what it's granted me in my life, how it's affected me and given me the opportunities that I have to be standing here before you today.
Right.
And so just being able to celebrate that and then also pass it on to my daughter and my son in the future, just passing that knowledge down through the generations.
Mhm. I love that. So, Jenna, we're very similar into, we're learning a lot around, this holiday and how it's celebrated and the history behind it, the real rich history behind it. So we're very much learning. And I mean, I love everything that I am learning. So, but can you discuss with our audience and let them know, your recent learnings around Juneteenth and then something that has stood out to you in this process?
Yeah, I think I'll start off with what stood out to me. I think for me, I was just shocked by how much I didn't know. Like the last year was really the first time when in my social media world that it started to like really come to like Juneteenth, and I was like, what is this? This is so new to me. And I guess my biggest learning was like, wow, a lot of people in my world actually don't know what this is, and I assume that there are other people who also don't know what this is. So I had to do a lot of research, and I found like the amazing things that Kim just had told us what it is. But as I was reaching out to people that I thought were very educated on this type of stuff, even they were like my dad. My dad's like, oh, I've never heard of this Juneteenth. What is it? And I'm like, oh, hold up, I have to like look at it. But I think there's maybe some other words that we used in school that I just didn't realize was synonymous with Juneteenth, like Emancipation Day. But yeah, it was just shocking to me. It's so rich with history, and then to have somebody, Kim, like you, that is so closely tied to it. You live in Texas. Your ancestors were affected by this. It's just like wasn't that long ago when we think about it.
Yeah.
Like this part of our history is like actually very close to us, and we should be educating ourselves and learning and talking about it like this.
Yeah, and I do appreciate your transparency into, the process of learning and really last year, like it really standing out to you a lot and like having to dive in more and totally understand it. So definitely appreciate that for sure. So it is a celebration. And Kim, I think you did touch on that, the definitely making sure that you are passing this down to your daughter and your future son and everything like that. So how is Juneteenth typically celebrated? I want to know like all the stories.
All the details. Well, and I did want to talk a little bit about what Jenna said before. I live in Colorado now. And so when I moved to Colorado, there was not really any celebrations before probably last year, and there wasn't really a talk of it. And so I missed that. I missed that fun celebration. But when I was home in Texas, for the Black community, the church is really the focus. The church is such a huge part of our culture and just the way we interact within society. And so a lot of times those celebrations centered around the church. So they might have a fish fry or just a get together just to talk and share stories. And so that's where a lot of the celebrations in my life tend to take place was at the church. But also in my family, we might just have a barbecue. It's almost like it's the 4th of July. That's what I like to say.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Like, it's that level of excitement. While yes, it comes from a sad place because of all the history there, we're celebrating. We're ringing the bell of freedom at that point. So that's how my family has tended to celebrate it.
Yeah, no, that's great. And it's good to, hear, it's coming from not a great thing at all. But, where it's taken us, as a country and everything like that. And to be able to celebrate it now, like that brings a smile to my face. And I am happy that, spending time with your family and doing all of that. And who doesn't love a good barbecue? I mean, honestly, I could go for one right now. I'm actually going to Texas this week, so I'm looking forward to barbecue. Yeah. So I know as soon as you said that, it like sparked. I was like, ooh, barbecue this week. But I do love that. I love the stories for sure. So I want to move our conversation to, bring into Sterling. So bringing it back to Sterling, I do love our conversations week after week around, how Sterling does support our employees and everything that we're doing as an organization. So I do want to talk about that and how we're giving back and supporting, the Black community and our colleagues within the Black community. So Jenna, I'll kick it off to you to start with this question. So how does Sterling support the Black community?
Yeah, so I see Sterling doing this in a very multifaceted approach. It's not just one way, which I can appreciate so that we can get more people involved in this. But the one that comes to mind is our employee resource group. So we have a Black employee and allyship resource group where I think on a quarterly basis we get together and we talk, and it's a safe space to share experiences, resources, and ask questions and learn. And I think it's a good thing for us to have as a community. But aside from the employee resource groups, and our chief diversity officer, she creates trainings for not just our Black employees, but allies, how to be an ally, how to educate ourselves in this world that we're living in. And then communications, what books can we teach our children or read to our children? It's just, I think it hits a lot of different areas to make sure that we're really supporting our Black community in different ways. That's my experience. So I'll let Kim talk about hers if she feels differently.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually a part of the ERG for Black employees. And I joined just wanting to learn a little bit more about how the resources that we had at Sterling. And then recently I joined the steering committee for that ERG. And just and it's really impactful for me because I not only see the fellow Black employees throughout Sterling, which I didn't have really access to before, but also seeing allies, seeing people on the call, learning, wanting to learn. We did a meeting, I think it was a couple months ago, about colorism. And there were so many people that didn't know even what that was and how that played in there. And so just seeing that it lifts my spirit, and it makes me just very excited to attend these meetings and to work for Sterling.
Absolutely. And it's something that we've brought up on a couple of different episodes before. We specifically talk about our ERGs, our employee resource groups. We have a ton of them. And I love when our employees come on and talk about them. And I think the one thing that stands out the most, is that all of them being a safe space. People have questions, people have concerns, and it's not always maybe a comfortable environment to someone to own up that they need more education, or they have a question that maybe they don't know they're asking the right way and things like that, because there's so much to learn for everybody. So I do love that we are bringing that up again, specifically to this one. And I love the impact that you clearly have made, Kim, on the group and everything you're benefiting too from it as well. So it's great to hear all sides of that. We do have a comment on LinkedIn, and I do want to read it. And any initial reaction from the two of you, that's fine. If not, we can move on. But it does say, as a biracial person, it is both a celebratory and sobering day. The delay of Emancipation Proclamation led to total freedom for our ancestors. I'm thankful this last year has created space for resources and education for those to grow in holistic history we weren't provided. So I do like that, the last statement. And I think, Jenna, it speaks to what you had said before, just over the last year, the more resources, the more education. So I'm definitely thankful for that as well.
Oh, what I love about that comment is that it really resonates with me, with the education we were not provided.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy to think that a lot of times Black history might have been an elective or something that you did, like I said, something I guess you choose to go into, but yeah, it's our ERGs have definitely given me a space to educate myself, and now I have that chance to be more educated.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So in the spirit of the holiday coming up this weekend, Kim, what are some ways that the people listening, Jenna and myself, other people at Sterling, how can we support the Black community?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've touched on it several times here, is that education. The things that you're taught in school aren't always necessarily the full picture of everything. And there's so many different voices out there. So listen to those Black voices. Listen to the people that are talking to you and giving you advice or just telling you how to navigate spaces. If you're open to that, I think that just really helps us out, because then we're not taking on all of that emotional labor. You're doing a
Yeah.
little bit of that work on your own. And so really that's my key is seek out those education opportunities.
Yeah, I love that for sure. And then Jenna, as an ally, what are some things that you have found that you're able to do to support the Black community?
Yeah, I think, Kim, you hit on a big one. I'm like really big on educating myself. And I love taking the angle that I'm a mom and I can pass this on to my very young kids who I don't know what their education looks like. They're not in school yet, but they will be in a few years. But if they don't, I can supplement with what I'm learning. And then obviously, I'm in that generation that loves social media. A lot of my friends, and one of my good friends in particular, posted something about using our senses, all 5 of our senses, to support our Black community. So what she meant by this is like watch TV that educates educate yourself. And she pointed out, I think it's called the show Blackish. Yeah, season 4. Talks about
I love that show.
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes, so I wanna watch that. If you're a consumer, put your money where your mouth is.
Absolutely.
Like, support Black-owned communities or small businesses. And I know other large businesses are doing that as well. Eat food that is created by, Black-owned businesses again, or traditional Black food, so you can have another educational opportunity. So I used to think like, okay, education is a good starting point, but like I actually have the power to do, more than that as I feel like I take on this journey.
And Jenna, that's such a great point. Sorry, I'm just jumping in there. But about education, like when you're educating your kids, if you find a book that's written by a Black author or a local bookstore that's owned by Black owned, that's where you spend your money, making sure that when you're tying your education in, that you're using those resources in the Black community and spending your money there. That's, I think, is huge.
Yeah. I mean, I love that example because I'm a huge reader. So I think that's great for our audience. And then also too, I do have to, chime in for the show Blackish. So that is, I actually it was a recommendation given to me for their Juneteenth episode. And I actually, well, it is, kind of like I think it's like a comedy sitcom almost. I learned so much. And it was a little bit more of like I don't know how to like say it, but it was a less like harsh way to learn about. Yeah. So I did. So I think it's interesting that still is being brought up. I think it is actually a really good resource. So do recommend that. And then again, to love the book resource as well. A lot of authors out there that can definitely help us learn a lot. And also too, just funding, supporting everything like that. So I think that truly is great. Our audience has a lot to take away here of how we can, move forward and support the Black community and also, help celebrate on Saturday. So yes, I think that's great. So this morning, actually, Sterling did come out with our statement in regards to commemorating Juneteenth. So it is from our Chief Diversity and Social Responsibility Officer, Jen Ketchens. So I'm going to go ahead and read the statement and just gather, both of your initial feedback, anything like that. So I'm going to read it now. So Sterling stands with our Black community in commemorating the upcoming Juneteenth holiday to remember a significant historical point in America's march towards freedom and equality for all. At Sterling, we celebrate the value of diversity and know that it makes our company stronger to understand, accept, and value differences. When we fully embrace different views, backgrounds, and experiences, we create a workplace where our employees can thrive and bring their very best each day. So, Kim, initial reactions to that?
Yeah. So first of all, that there is even a statement is huge. I've worked in corporate America for almost a decade at this point. I've never heard anybody issue a statement. So the fact that Sterling is taking that stand and putting that out there is huge for me. And I'm impressed. I think it's great.
No, that's great to hear. Jenna, thoughts, reactions?
I think, Kim, same initial reaction. That is a big statement. I love that we're talking about Juneteenth and also just our perspective on diversity and what it can do for like us as a whole, not just like Sterling, but like our world. And I feel like we're not just remembering this day. Like we're obviously having this conversation. We're educating ourselves, and I'm proud to be part of a team, a company that puts importance on stuff like this and is making statements out there.
Right.
Absolutely. And I can definitely attest to that and agree with that I'm definitely proud to work for an organization that is, forward thinking and putting things out there and making sure that I always, this is brought up a lot too, when we have, these types of episodes around our people and culture and just hashtag Team Sterling, really propping up, bringing your best self to work and bringing your true self to work. It's something I actually had a Sterling Live episode with Jen Ketchens around diversity and inclusion early on in the year. It was in January of this year. And that was one of the main points of discussions. And I couldn't agree more with it. And I had shared that I every day do show up, and it's me. It's everything. You guys get everything 100% day in, day out of Caitlin Brower and who I am. So to hear this keep coming up on these episodes, it just makes me so proud to work for this organization. And I think that is why we are so successful. We all work together very, very well because we all, oops, sorry about that feedback. Big echo there. It just really shows in everything that we're doing, that everyone is really coming to work and being themselves. So I truly do love that. So as we come to a close on the episode, I do want to remind our audience on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube that if you have any questions for Jenna and Kim, please go ahead and put them in the comment section. And as we're waiting for any potential questions to come in, I wanted to get some final thoughts from the two of you in regards to today's episode, in regards to the holiday, Juneteenth coming up on Saturday, how we can support the Black community, any, final thoughts that you have. So Jenna, I'm going to start with you here.
Putting me on the spot. My final thoughts. So I think I just wanted to thank you for allowing us to have this conversation to talk about what Juneteenth means, to maybe educate somebody who doesn't know what it means, and also speaking of authentic self, allowing me to say that I'm not as educated as I want to be in areas like this. And I think it's important that people say that so that we're not faking it. We're not trying to educate, I'm not out here educating other people on a topic that I don't know, but instead having a conversation. So just thank you.
Thank you. Kim, final thoughts.
Absolutely. And again, I am so excited that this was a topic. I also think just share this information. If you're going through your day on Saturday and you're thinking about it, talk to somebody about Juneteenth, tell them the story behind it, talk to your kids about Juneteenth, just take that information and share it, because the more it's shared, the more that it becomes part of the culture, and it becomes part of our culture as a whole in America. So final thoughts.
Yeah, no, I love it. And it was probably the perfect way to wrap up this episode. Truly outstanding. I learned so much within 21 minutes, and always love having a discussion, real open, transparent discussions with our employees. It just truly, everyone delivers week after week. So if you do watch this series, it's the best of the best for sure. And this will definitely fall into that, definitely. So as always, we are live every single week. So we do hope that everyone tuning in now will join us next week and the week after and all the weeks to come after. I do love coming to you guys every single week, delivering, the best of the best. But Jenna and Kim, thank you so much. You were tremendous guests today. And I know our audience learned so much and just loved having the two of you share your experiences, share your stories, and really showcase everything you have around this. So again, great discussion. So thank you to the two of you. Sorry again for that echo. And thank you to our audience. We just, of course, speaking of Jen Ketchens, she just said, great job and happy Juneteenth to all. Yes.
Happy Juneteenth.
Absolutely happy Juneteenth. And everyone celebrating on Saturday. We hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. So thank you all for joining us.